One of the most highly anticipated matchups of the year is finally here this weekend on Saturday. Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira, UFC 317. I can't wait for this fight. And I'm going to give you my full card thoughts and predictions about every single fight, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event. And here are my thoughts and predictions. Starting with Niko Price versus Jacobe Smith. People forget, man. No. I'm going with Jacobe Smith. Niko Price is going to get knocked the fuck out here. I mean, he's undefeated. Like, everything's going for him. Niko Price is a hard-hitting guy. Jacobe Smith is a hard-hitting guy. And Niko Price is old, man. People forget, man. Niko Price is old. And, yeah, he's going to get slept here, I think. Maybe not slept. Maybe like a round 3 TKO. But, yeah, I think Jacobe Smith is going to get this done pretty easily. And I got Jacobe Smith by round 3 TKO against Niko Price and staying with the undefeated streak. So, yeah, that's that. Next up, Jhonata Diniz versus Alvin Hines. I don't know who the fuck Alvin Hines is, and neither does the UFC website, but that's okay. This is his debut. Okay. Well, I don't fucking know then. I don't know anything about this guy, bro. What are the odds? Okay. I'm going with Jhonata Diniz then, man. He's going to get this done by decision. It's going to be a boring fight, but it's two blobs going against each other. I got Jhonata Diniz by 29-28 decision in a fairly easy bout. I don't know who Alvin Hines is, and no one else does. We do not know who Alvin Hines is. So, yeah, I'm confidently saying Jhonata Diniz. I think he was supposed to fight Justin Tafa originally, but Justin Tafa pulled out of the card. So, yeah, I'm going with Jhonata Diniz by decision. Moving up the card, we have another debut, bro. Who the fuck is Jackson Mcvey? Look at this guy, bro. Oh God. I don't know, man. It's not even a money line. This fight was literally out of last week, I'm pretty sure. I'm going with Sedriques Dumas. He is coming off a loss. I forgot who he fought last time. He's coming off a loss. But I was going against Jackson Mcvey, and no one knows who he is. So I'm going to confidently say Sedriques Dumas by decision. I mean, look at the guy, bro. I'm just not really going to say anything else about that. Yeah, this guy would probably kill me. So I'm going to go with Sedriques Dumas. All right? By decision. I don't fucking know. Listen, you guys. I don't know who Alvin Hines is, and I don't know who Jackson Mcvey is, you guys. So this is a badass fight, you guys. All right, that is off the early prelims. Next up on the card is Terrance McKinney versus Viacheslav Borshchev. Okay. No odds. I know who Terrance McKinney is. I forgot who he fought last. But I don't know who this other guy is. That's why I'm gonna go with USA beating up the Russians. And it doesn't look like Borshchev has fought in a long time based on his shorts, because these shorts were debuted in October. So I think he's coming off a long layoff. And I just think Terrance McKinney's a crafty young guy, I think he's going to win. I think he's going to win by round 2 TKO. I mean, just look at it. Just look at the matchup, If you just if you were to ask someone, who do you think wins between this person and this person, everyone's going to say Terrance McKinney. No one's going to say this Russian blob, bro. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Terrance McKinney by pretty easy round 2 TKO. And, yeah, do it for America. Beat the Russians, all right? So I don't know what else. Yeah, that's that. I'm going to go with Terrance McKinney by round 2 TKO. Moving up the card. Oh, here we go. This is the fight we've all been waiting for, you guys. We have all been waiting for this fight. I'm kidding. No one's really waiting for this fight. Viviane Araujo versus Tracy Cortez. I got Tracy Cortez by decision. Enough said really about that. Tracy Cortez is a good fighter. Viviane Araujo, I forgot what her last fight is, but I really could care less about this fight, to be honest. But I'm going with Tracy Cortez by decision. And she's coming off a loss against Rose Namajunas. So it was a short notice fight, and it was a short notice loss. It was supposed to originally be Macy Barber, but Macy Barber is no surprise that she pulled out of that fight. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm gonna go with Tracy Cortez by decision. I'm gonna go 29-28. It's gonna be split decision. I think it's gonna be 29-28 for both both girls, and then the last scorecard is going to be 29-28 for Tracy Cortez. So, yeah, I'm pretty confidently saying that. This is going by really fast, by the way, you guys. I don't really care about any of these fights until we get to the main card. I don't fucking know. This is a good fight, though. This is a good fight. Hyder Amil versus Jose Miguel Delgado. I don't know, man. Hyder Amil is undefeated. I forgot what his last fight was. This is a really interesting matchup. I'm going to go with Hyder Amil by round 2 submission. I think he's going to get this done by triangle choke. I think Jose Miguel Delgado is going to shoot a takedown. He's going to get it in full guard. Hyder Amil is going to lock up a triangle submission. And he's going to get it done pretty easily against Delgado. And I think this is going to come by round 2 submission, I would probably venture to guess. Round 2 submission is my prediction. But to be fair, I really do not care about this fight that much. Every single fight so far I really don't care about. I'm really waiting for the main card. And by the way, I'm just going to say it here while I'm at it. No, I'm going to leave it to later. I'm going to talk about it later. No money line again. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Hyder Amil by round 2 submission via triangle choke. All right. Moving up the card. Here we go. Jack Hermansson, you guys. People forget, man. Jack Hermansson is a badass fighter. He's a marauder, you guys. Against Gregory Rodrigues. I really don't know about this fight. Who did Gregory... He lost to... Who did he fight? Did he fight, who was his last fight? It was Roman Dolidze, right? He fought Roman Dolidze and lost, I think. So, I think, 2 old heads going at it. I'm going with Jack Hermansson by decision. What are the odds for this fight? Yeah, I'm going to pick the underdog, Jack Hermansson by decision. I think it's going to be mostly a stand-up battle. I think the first round is going to go, they're trading shots. Jack Hermansson lands it. He's going to be consistent with that jab. Gregory Rodrigues is going to hold him against the fence for like maybe 30 seconds, and then they're going to break away in the clinch, and then he's going to, he's going to land some good shots, just like a little 1-2, boom, boom. He lands a straight. Maybe he lands a couple calf kicks. But, I mean, they're both old men, and I think Jack Hermansson can get this done. I think he should confidently win by decision. I'm going to guess 30-27 decision, you guys. People forget, man. Jack Hermansson's a marauder, you guys. He's a marauder. This is the fight we've all been looking for, you guys. We have all been looking for Jack Hermansson versus Gregory Rodrigues as the prelim headliner for International Fight Week. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Jack Hermansson by decision. I think he confidently gets this done by 30-27 decision. Then again, I could be wrong. And then again, I really do not care about this fight, you guys. I don't care about it. So, yeah. Jack Hermansson, 30-27 decision. Gets it done pretty easily. He's going to stick to the jab and calf kicks. Main card. Here we go. I'm being serious this time. Now, we got a badass card, you guys. UFC 317. Payton Talbott versus Felipe Lima. I'm going to move my thing. Hold on one second, you guys. There we go. All right. Yeah. Payton Talbott versus Felipe Lima. This is a good fight. I'm actually looking forward to this fight. So Payton Talbott, they're really, after he lost. Who was his last fight? Fuck. Hold on. I need to see Payton Talbott's last fight. Anthony Barcelos. Is that his name? It was what's his name? What's his full name? Raoni Barcelos. So Talbott versus Barcelos. I remember that was UFC 311 in the prelims. Payton Talbott's a good fighter, and Felipe Lima is also a really good fighter. These are like really young guys. They're like feeding two prospects against each other, which is kind of surprising to me, to be honest, you guys. I want to say Payton Talbott, but I just think Felipe Lima is too good on the ground, and based off of Payton Talbott's last fight against Barcelos, I really think that he's really not that good on the ground, you guys. He's very good standing up, but old man Barcelos took him down and pretty much mauled him on the ground for 3 rounds straight. So Payton Talbott, he's not that good of a grappler. He's a really good striker, but Felipe Lima is a young, gifted. He's a small guy too. He's a small. He's really good at grappling. Let me look at it. Hold on. There's no money line for this fight. There's no odds for this fight. I think Felipe Lima can get this done by decision. I want to say decision. Now, it could go either way. I like Payton Talbott, but Payton Talbott, it doesn't seem like he's taking this career seriously, if you know what I mean. Like, he hangs out with Frank Ocean every day, makes YouTube videos. And for a guy that's making YouTube videos and hang out with Frank Ocean and really cares about, like, aesthetics more than fighting, I really don't see him caring about this fight. And this is, like, a short notice fight also. Like, this fight was put together, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago? So maybe he's been working on, grappling in the gym recently, but I honestly think, he's not that good of a grappler. Felipe Lima seems more serious about his craft, seems more serious about fighting, and I think he's going to come into this fight more energized and more, what's the word? Locked in. Not locked in. That's not the word I was looking for, but more, there's more, I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say. He's coming into this fight more motivated, okay, than Payton Talbott, I would feel like. Now, if this fight stays on the feet, and if Payton Talbott's really good at defending the takedowns from Felipe Lima, I think Payton Talbott could piece up Lima based off just he's 4 inches taller than him and he has a longer reach than him. I think he could piece up Felipe Lima, but Felipe Lima's going to come in, he's going to come in, short guard, hands up to his face, come in, boom, boom, and then, boom, shoot for the takedown, And then that's where I think he's going to shoot the takedown right when Talbott throws his hook, boom, boom, gets a takedown the first round. He's going to lay on top of Talbott, hit some good ground and pounds there, but Payton Talbott's going to not be able to come to his feet, and this is what I think is going to happen. I think he's not going to be able to come to his feet, and I think Payton Talbott is going to lose his first round really convincingly, 10-9. And then the second round, he's going to be Payton Talbott, I just don't really think he cares that much. He's an amazing prospect, but so is Felipe Lima. And I just don't think Payton Talbott cares that much, and I think he will get not mauled, but it'll be a pretty comfortable decision win for Felipe Lima because Payton Talbott just doesn't have the grappling. He is the striking. If this is a strictly stand-up battle, I would pick Payton Talbott. But it's not. It's mixed martial arts. And Felipe Lima is going to utilize the takedowns. He's going to utilize the ground and pound. And I think that's where he's just going to succeed. And I don't think Payton Talbott has been working on, based off of my opinion on Payton Talbott and based off what I think about Payton Talbott, I really don't think he's going to be motivated against Felipe Lima. I don't think he really cares about fighting that much. Even though he's a really good prospect, it just doesn't seem like he cares about fighting. So I'm going to say Felipe Lima gets this confidently done by decision. I'm going to go with 29-28 decision. I'm looking forward to this fight, though. It's two great prospects. I don't like how they're pinning two prospects together. They should both be fighting, gatekeepers of the division, like old people of the division. But, thins out the rankings, I guess. And it's a good fight. They're both young, exciting prospects. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Felipe Lima by decision 29-28 across all scorecards. Moving up the card. This is a fight I've been looking forward to, man. Mini Nate Diaz, Brandon Royval versus Joshua Van. 3-round fight. I'm going with Brandon Royval, you guys. I think Brandon Royval is just... I think Joshua Van can come up to the level. He's 23 years old. He can come up to the level of Brandon Royval. But here's the thing, you guys. Brandon Royval is supposed to fight Beneil, who's a crafty striker, and so is Joshua Van. So Brandon Royval has kind of been training for a guy like Joshua Van, right? Really crafty, really small, you know? Really, just like, he's really good at striking. He's really fast, and Brandon Royval has been training for this. For Beneil, because this fight was originally supposed to be Brandon Royval versus Beneil, and if that fight were to happen, I would have gone with Beneil. But that fight didn't happen, and Joshua Van stepped in. And, you know, Joshua Van literally fought last pay-per-view, UFC 316. He's fighting 2 times in less than a month. And he just fought Bruno Silva, and Bruno Silva is not the same level of competition as Brandon Royval, you guys. Brandon Royval is looking for another title shot. Brandon Royval is the number 1 ranked person in the flyweight division. And I just think that Brandon Royval is just too crafty for Joshua Van. It's a big step up in competition for Joshua Van. And I love Joshua Van. He's one of my favorite prospects in the sport right now, and I really want to see him win. But unfortunately, the fact is, he's an active young fighter who has a lot of motivation and hype. But he did fight 3 weeks ago at UFC 316, and this fight was made 2 weeks ago, you guys. So Brandon Royval has been training for this. Joshua Van hasn't. Brandon Royval is just stylistically just like has faced a higher level of competition and is just better than Joshua Van, I think. I think Joshua Van, if this fight would have happened in a year and Joshua Van would have fight up the rankings, you know, fight like maybe like a Steve Erceg, and then go on to like a, I don't know, like a Tatsu or Taira, and then he fights the Brandon Royval, I think he would. I think Joshua Van would have a really good chance of winning. But the matter of fact is that Joshua Van is coming off of a 3-week layoff, and Brandon Royval is coming off a 6-month layoff. And he's healthier. Brandon Royval, he's healthier. He's more not motivated, but he's, you know, he the only people he's losing to in this division is Alexander Pantoja. He beat Tatsuo Taira. He beat Brandon Moreno. Who else did he beat? He beat someone else. I don't think, actually. I think it was just them too. But he's supposed to fight Beneil. So I think Brandon Royval gets this done by decision, a comfortable decision. I'm going to go with 30-27, 30-27, 29-28 decision. I really kind of want Joshua Van to win because if Joshua Van wins this, he's fighting for the next title against Pantoja. And like, dude, that would be an amazing fight. But Joshua Van, you know, you can't be on this run forever. You know, you go up the rankings, you fight the Bruno Silvas, and then you fight Brandon Royval, and this is like, you're getting the big moment you've been waiting for 3 weeks after your last fight. And I just don't think it serves him right. I just think it's too much for Joshua Van. And I think Brandon Royval, he's a crafty striker. He's got good range. You know, he utilizes that jab. Boom, boom, right? He utilizes that jab pretty easily. And I just think Joshua Van won't be able to get in there and beat Brandon Royval, but I think Brandon Royval will be able to beat Joshua Van by decision. Like I said, 30-27, 30-27, 29-28 scorecards. So, yeah. I'm rooting for Joshua Van. This is a really intriguing fight. I really can't wait for this one. But I just think Brandon Royval is the guy, and I just think he's the guy to get it done. Now, if this fight didn't happen on 3 weeks' notice for Joshua Van, and like let's say they both had good training camps, maybe Joshua Van would have a better chance of winning. But that's not the case, and Brandon Royval is gonna win this pretty easily. So yeah, I'm going Brandon Royval by decision. Moving up the card. Let me tell you something, motherfuckers. We got Renato Moicano versus Beneil Dariush. Really identical records. This is a tough fight to predict, man. This is a tough fight to predict. Now, Renato Moicano is coming off the loss against Islam Makhachev, a short notice 1-day fight. No one thought he was going to win that, but I just think, I don't know. I'm going to go with Money Moicano. I'm going with Money Renato Moicano by decision. Fuck, do I change it? Hold on. No. No. I'm going to go with Renato Moicano by decision. I think he's more crafty than Beneil Dariush. And people forget, man. Beneil Dariush is coming off of a year layoff. Since Hermansson literally killed him in the first minute. Fight night. He's coming off of a KO loss to Oliveira, then a KO loss to Arman Tsarukyan, and then he was supposed to fight Renato Moicano in January. That got changed because Arman Tsarukyan pulled out, and now they've just rebooked this fight, and it's a good fight. I think Renato Moicano is gonna win by TKO, round 3 TKO for Renato Moicano, and Beneil Dariush is old, man. Burped. Beneil Dariush is old, man. And I think Renato Moicano can utilize his grappling really well. I think Renato Moicano is a better and more slick jiu-jitsu artist than Beneil Dariush. They're both black belts in jiu-jitsu. They're both jiu-jitsu guys, so it's going to be really good scrambling on the ground. But I really think Renato Moicano is going to come back more motivated after his loss to Islam Makhachev, He cannot afford to lose, you guys. He cannot afford to lose. Let me tell you something, you guys. I cannot afford to lose, right? So I think Renato Moicano is going to win this by round 3 TKO. I think it's going to be literally a ground game for the first 2 rounds, and then they're going to be both pretty tired by the 3rd round. And I think Renato Moicano is going to be... It's going to be a really, really close fight up until the TKO. I think it's going to be like, it all depends on this round, you guys, when it comes to round 3. And then I think Renato Moicano is gonna find a good right hook in the clinch against Beneil Dariush, and he's gonna drop Beneil Dariush and then just hammer fist him. So I think I'm gonna pick Moicano by round 3 TKO. Really exciting fight, and I got a feel for Dariush, man. If he loses this fight, he's probably gonna retire. And he's old. He has gray hair already, But yeah, I'm gonna go with Renato Moicano by round 3 TKO. Moving up the card, Alexandre Pantoja versus Kai Kara-France. This is you know what? I'm gonna go with Kai Kara-France, you guys. I think Kai Kara-France is, he'll knock him out. No, I'm kidding. I went with Pantoja by decision. I don't see anyone in this weight class beating Pantoja, and I think he gets... I'm going to really keep this one short because I really want to talk about the main event. But I really think no one in this weight class is going to beat Pantoja. I'm trying to think of contenders in the flyweight division. Maybe if Joshua Van wins against Brandon Royval, he can beat Pantoja. But, what's really crazy is that... they fought before, which is very intriguing. I just rewatched that fight, and that fight was 10 years ago, 7 years ago, and I think Pantoja is too good on the ground, too good at striking, and he's got he's got a granite chin, you guys. And if Kai Kara-France can't put Pantoja out in the first round like he does with other guys, if he can't knock Pantoja out, what can Kai Kara-France do? He's not going to piece him up. Kai Kara-France is not a guy to win by decision a lot. He's a guy to knock people out in the first round and call it good. And with Pantoja's, slick head movement and slick grappling and granite chin, I just think he's gonna eat a couple shots, boom, boom, boom. Maybe take a straight. And he's like, oh, okay. He's not gonna get stunned. He's not gonna get dropped. But I think he's gonna boom and then just shoot for the double leg, and then he's gonna climb on his. This is a really casual take. He's gonna climb on his back. Try to choke him, It's not going to happen. I got Pantoja by decision, but does Kai Kara-France really deserve this fight? Let's be honest here. Does he really deserve this fight? I get that there's no one else for Pantoja to fight, but I think Pantoja, man, I think if he wins this fight and then wins one more fight, he might be the flyweight GOAT. And people are not ready for that conversation. People say, "Oh, what about Mighty Mouse, DJ? 10 title defenses, man. How can you not? He's always gonna be the GOAT. Pantoja, no matter what Pantoja does, DJ has 10 title defenses. Okay, name 3 people that Mighty Mouse beat. He beat Henry Cejudo, good win. He beat Ray Borg. Ray Borg is not on the same level as Kai Kara-France or on the same level as Brandon Moreno or Brandon Royval, right? He beat Joseph Benavidez, not the same level. It's like and then he lost to Dominic Cruz. So, I mean, I just think Pantoja, and what's crazy is that Pantoja is like 35 years old, and I'm still confidently picking Pantoja, you guys. I think Pantoja gets this done by decision very easily against Kai Kara-France, 49-46 across the board. And yeah, if he wins this, and then if he fights, who would he fight next? Like Joshua Van or Brandon Royval or Manil Cap or Brandon Moreno? Whoever he fights next in December, he's going to become the flyweight GOAT. And then if he moves up and fights Merab, you know what I mean? I think he's the flyweight. I think he's going to come to the flyweight GOAT. So, yeah, I got Pantoja by decision. Here we go. The fight we were all looking forward to. Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira. Now, as an Ilia Topuria Glazer, we are going to win this fight. I see a lot of people starting with Charles Oliveira here, and they're fence sitting, they're delusional, People are saying, "Oh, Charles Oliveira by the power of friendship, Charles Oliveira by the power of by the edits, Charles Oliveira by sunshine and rainbows, and I'm like, dude, Ilia Topuria is gonna fucking put him to sleep so easily, People are still underrating Ilia Topuria by choosing Charles Oliveira. And Charles Oliveira could win. Charles Oliveira could win, yes. But Ilia Topuria, man. Ilia Topuria is just so fucking good everywhere. And people don't want to talk about it, but Ilia Topuria, he just beat Volkanovski, knocked him out in the second round. Cold. Holloway, 3rd round KO. And now he's coming up to Charles Oliveira. And here's the thing. Charles Oliveira's last fight was against Michael Chandler, and he couldn't put Michael Chandler away. And he still got rocked against no fight IQ Michael Chandler in the 5th round. It's not going to happen for Charles Oliveira, guys. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. And I just think Ilia Topuria is just too powerful, too dangerous everywhere. If he wants it, I'm going to say this. As much as I love Charles Oliveira, and as much as Charles Oliveira is he's like the best submission artist in the game, I think Ilia Topuria could still win by submission. I think honestly, and this is sounding pretty casual Ilia Topuria glaze right here, but I think Ilia Topuria by whatever he wants. I think Ilia Topuria gets this done in 2. There's no odds yet. I think it was like minus 500 with the odds for Ilia Topuria, man. So yeah, bet the house on Topuria. I just think he's dangerous everywhere, and for a guy like Charles Oliveira who gets rocked constantly, he got dropped by Chandler, he got dropped by Poirier, and he got dropped by Gaethje, And he got dropped by Chandler again, man. And Arman Tsarukyan, he lost to Arman literally a year ago. He lost to Islam by submission. And, Islam and Arman are good losses. Yeah, but, here's the thing. Charles Oliveira has 10 losses. Ilia Topuria has 0. And that should just be enough for you to know that Ilia Topuria is going to win. Charles Oliveira, he comes in, he pushes the pace, right? He comes in pushing it, he's gonna try to do boom boom, maybe down low leg kick, and then he's gonna get in the clinch and start throwing knees, right? But I think once the clinch happens and once the clinch separates, Ilia Topuria, head movement, boom, bam. That's how it's gonna go. They both push. Charles Oliveira's gonna push. He's gonna keep his head in the air pretty easily. And people forget, man, Charles Oliveira gets gassed out. Even if this goes into the later rounds, I think Charles Oliveira is gonna lose. No matter what round it's in, Charles Oliveira is gonna lose. And I think Ilia Topuria gets this done very easily by round 2 KO. And I don't want to see it happen. I love Charles Oliveira, and I've been seeing people say that Charles Oliveira is he had a son. He's going to win for his son now. This is his moment. He's going to get it done. The edits, let it happen. Everything, Charles Oliveira, illuminated by God. It's all this, I love Charles Oliveira, man. He's the reason why I got into the sport in the first place. He's one of my favorite fighters. And he used to be my favorite fighter. But the matter of the fact is that Charles Oliveira is old. He's 35 years old. He has 10 losses on his career. It's like in those big fights recently, It's in the big fights where he loses. I know he had an amazing title reign back then. But ever since he lost to Islam, he came back, beat Dariush. Then he pulled out of the Islam fight. He came back for the number 1 contenders fight against Arman. Lost to Arman. And then he came back against Chandler. That's an easy win. That was a gimme win for Charles Oliveira. I mean, Chandler's washed and sucks now. So, Ilia Topuria's last win is Max Holloway. Charles Oliveira quit against Max Holloway. You know what I mean? I think Ilia Topuria is just on a different planet. And I think if he wins this, and I think whether it be Arman, Islam, or Paddy next, he's going to beat them. And people are not ready for it, man. People are not ready. People don't want to hear this, but Ilia Topuria has the potential of being the GOAT of the sport. You know what I mean? Look at his quality of wins. He beat Volk and Holloway, the 2 greatest featherweights of all time, and then now he's going to beat Charles Oliveira. And I'm not even going to say if he beats Charles Oliveira. I'm 100% confident that he is going to beat Charles Oliveira. And this is how it's going to work. This is how it's going to happen. Round 1. Charles Oliveira, pushing the pace, keeping his hands high, throwing that jab, leg kicks, right? And he's going to throw a lot of teeps to the body, a lot of leg kicks and teeps to the body, right? And he's just going to move forward. And this is what Charles Oliveira does wrong. He moves forward, and then he gets clipped by Chandler, Poirier, Gaethje, Islam. He's been clipped by all of these guys because he moves forward so often. And the difference between Gaethje and Topuria is Topuria, and people don't want to hear this, Topuria has more power, and Topuria has better grappling. So if Topuria drops him, like Gaethje did, he's going to fucking go on there and then boom, 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 if that happens, right? But I also think Topuria has the power just to knock him out cold. I think Charles Oliveira, and I'm going to cry if this happens. I really don't want to see this happen, but Charles Oliveira is going to go to sleep. He is going to lights out cold in round 2. Anyway, for the first round, it's going to be he's going to move forward. He might get the clinch. He might throw a couple knees up the middle, right? He might shoot from takedowns, And that's what we saw from the last fight against Chandler is instead of being a striking battle, he utilized his takedowns. He utilized his wrestling and ground, right? And it's a different Oliveira than what we've seen in the past. Oliveira used to be pushing the pace, pushing the pressure, high output, very exciting, boom, 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 everything. He has so many weapons, right? But in the Michael Chandler fight, he did that, and then he just went for takedowns. He really utilized his wrestling and jiu-jitsu in the Michael Chandler fight recently. And I don't know if he's going to be doing that in this fight. He might. But the difference between Chandler, Gaethje, Poirier, and the difference between Chandler, Gaethje, and Poirier And Topuria is what Topuria has that those three don't have is really good wrestling. And he has really good Greco-Roman wrestling, and he has really good jiu-jitsu. He might not be on the same level of jiu-jitsu as Charles Oliveira, no. But I really think Topuria, if he wants to, he can wrestle with him. If he wants to, he could strike with him, right? And I know this is sounding really casual and glazy, but you guys are going to see this happen firsthand. You guys are going to see Ilia Topuria do this, right? And in the first round, Charles Oliveira is going to come up with the knees. He's going to land those jabs. Topuria is going to keep his head movement. Boom, 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 boom. Leg kick, and he's going to start throwing combos. Jab, whoosh, a lot of combos. He's a combo guy. And if Oliveira pushes the pace, Topuria has such good power and accuracy. He's going to boom, boom, boom. He's going to throw hooks to the body. And I think in the first round, Oliveira might win the first round just by wrestling and just by grappling and clinch. We're going to see zesty clinch like we did against Islam with Charles Oliveira. He's going to clinch against the fence. And, I mean, I really, 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 really think that Topuria in the second round is going to be like, okay, nice clinch work. And then Topuria is going to start putting the pressure, right? Boom, boom, boom. He's going to push him against the fence, slow. It's like he's stalking his prey. He literally did it with this with Volk and Holloway, Jacobe. He did this with everyone, right? Boom, straight, and then watch. And then he's going to go against the cage. Jab, hook to the body, left hook, puts Charles Oliveira out cold. I think Topuria gets this done easily against Charles Oliveira, and I don't want to see it happen, but it's going to happen. And you guys are not ready for it. But I told you so. I already pre-mourned this loss for Charles Oliveira, man. I already pre-mourned this loss. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Ilia Topuria by round 2 KO, out cold, and Ilia Topuria is him. And if he wins this fight, he might be number 2 pound for pound. Might be number 1. And I think he has a chance of beating Islam. And you guys are not ready for that conversation. But, I'm looking forward to this fight. Super banger fight. I can't wait for this fight. And I'm going to tell you a little story about something. There's this guy back home who loves Charles Oliveira and hates Ilia Topuria. And I love Ilia Topuria. And I love Charles Oliveira too. But Ilia Topuria is my favorite fighter right now, right? And he was like bashing me for loving Ilia Topuria. He's like, Charles Oliveira is going to fuck up Ilia Topuria, And this was like a couple months ago. He's like, Ilia Topuria sucks. He's not even Spanish, And he hates Ilia Topuria, and I get it. Ilia Topuria is the villain of the UFC. He beat Volk and Holloway. But he hates Ilia Topuria with all his heart. And for that reason, I'm rooting for Ilia Topuria because I can't wait to just prove him wrong and show that Ilia Topuria is just on a different level than Charles Oliveira. And Charles Oliveira's old. He's lost before. This is the last chance. If he doesn't win this, he's probably going to retire. So I pre-mourned my loss for Oliveira, and I pre-mourned my retirement for Oliveira. And it's going to be a sad day on Saturday. It's going to be a sad day watching Charles Oliveira get slept out cold. But Ilia Topuria is him, man. And listen, if Charles Oliveira wins, good for him. He can win this fight. It's possible. Don't get me wrong. It's possible for Charles Oliveira to win this fight. He's a former champion. But the matter of the fact is what was I going to say? Charles Oliveira could win this fight. And it'll be a happy day. But what's better for the division and what's better for the UFC is if Ilia Topuria wins this fight. And if Ilia Topuria wins this fight, we get literally 2 super fights. We get Islam, or we get Paddy, or we get Arman, And it's just better for the lightweight division if Ilia Topuria wins this fight. And if Charles Oliveira wins this fight, it's like, oh, the lightweight division is kind of like in a recession. You know what I mean? Because he lost to Islam. It's like the same thing as Volk winning in featherweight. It's like, okay, Volk won, but we know who the best featherweight is, and it's Ilia Topuria, right? So I think Ilia Topuria gets this done, and yeah, that's it. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.